A sense of reality and truth is something all writers aspire to. They want to tell stories which are both recognizable and surprising. And so, poetry reflects and deflects, forcing us in front of a mirror whilst also suggesting interesting horizons and new directions. Conflict, contrast, contradictions must be embraced and not avoided. The sonnets are full of them, but we should never shy away from complications. They are the stuff of life, as Shakespeare well knew, and his drama thrives on it. Do the sonnets provide answers as they deal with those impossible issues we have to grapple with? Not really, and not fully. Shakespeare's recipe for immortality might be having children, or, if you can afford it, hire a poet to praise your virtues. But these are temporary measures anyway. I don't expect therapy when I'm reading. In the case of the sonnets, I know I will be taking down some very familiar paths, and others that should be familiar but which I've often chosen to avoid. Some of these questions are unresolvable. These avenues are well trodden, but stretch forever. They cannot ever be fully explored. Just like the plays, the sonnets help us make sense of the voices in our heads. They give our desires and fears a local habitation and a name. Again, like the plays, these poems put us on the spot and challenge what Hamlet calls our conscience. In other words, our vision of ourselves. It all started with a book, remember? Age 10, I became spellbound by these stories which seemed so exotic and so remote. Firstly in Italian and then in English. I have been listening to these voices for over 40 years now. And then, as time has passed, the stories have become less exotic and more familiar. As Alan Bennett suggests, the best moment in reading are when you come across something, a thought, a feeling, a way of looking at things which you have thought special and particular to you. Now here it is, set down by someone else, a person you've never met, someone even who is long dead. And it is as if a hand has come out and taken yours. And this is why we read Shakespeare. And this is how Shakespeare reads us. His plays and poems are a lesson and a reminder of our common humanity. I always tell the students I teach that reading is useful, reading is interesting, reading is beautiful. It is useful to know who we are and what we can become. It's interesting too when someone like Shakespeare surprises us, hoodwinks us, takes us down the wrong path, debunking the myths of histories, making the universal ordinary and the mundane eternal. And it is beautiful too. After all, to hear with eyes belongs to love's fine wit. As we travel through Shakespeare's comedies, histories, tragedies, and poems, I try to share with you a passion which has shaped my life. Sadness and tragedy, loss and despair must be accounted for. We cannot afford to avoid them, but despite them, and maybe because of them, the theatre of the world is endlessly enticing. Happiness might write white, but reading is hugely life-affirming. Shakespeare calls it a journey in my head. And as the 19th century American poet Emily Dickinson tells us, there is no frigate as swift as a book to take us lands away. A cheap way to travel, including through time, and of talking to yourself without people thinking you're mad. As we read Shakespeare's work, the journeys in our heads become crowded with voices. Comical, tragic, historical voices. The voices of the poems and the plays which we must hear with eyes. These are not just words in a book or lines heard in a playhouse. If all the world is a stage, Shakespeare's voices become our own.